Hello, hello, and welcome to PURELive. It is Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And for those of you that have been watching the show for a while, you know that I start off with my sponsors. So, on that note, here we go. All right. And that is formerly known as Boss, and now there's network. You guys, like it's a powerful network to be plugged into. They helped me get this show started. They helped me with resources. So many of my guests have been from this group. You really, really need to check them out. Seriously. And I told you guys the last time I was on here that I was getting plugged into some new things. So here's something else.
They wanna judge me, I'll testify. Catch me on Insta, I'm verified. 1, 2, 3 a day. They want me quiet, I amplify. I'm on my way to the best thing that you've ever seen. You know that you bow to the queen. You lose all your senses and reason. I'll give you something to believe in. OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW. OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW.
Yeah, so if you go to my website, you will see motives and you can click on there and get a discount from me. And you will benefit this channel and the show. I say both because I live stream via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So it's more than just YouTube. Also, for those of you that like how I rock them shades and the blue blockers as well, you can go to my website again and you'll see a Bella Eyewear up there and you will get 30% off. You're welcome. You can rock it like me. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is different because this is just me today. I've never done a show by myself, but I want to give you guys an opportunity to learn about what's been going on with me, how it relates to the pandemic, and an opportunity to ask questions. So we're going to dig into it. Also, if you guys want, I have merch. If you go to my website, asianjamal.com or .net, you will see this. This also supports me and the channel. Okay, here we go. So, for those of you that are used to seeing my show every week, I took a couple weeks off. And the reason for that is because I was in the hospital for a week. Before that, or after that, I was recovering from surgery. Before that, I was sick. For those of you that were paying attention to the posts, I was kind of hinting towards that situation and letting you know that several shows that I did, I was still sick, but I just didn't tell. I didn't tell you guys what I was dealing with. So let's start from the beginning. Hey, Elliot. How you doing, bro? So I'd say about a month ago, somewhere around there, um, I had some health issues that led me to go to the hospital. So for for people that end up having some situations in their body that feels urgent, you're like, okay, I can't wait for the doctor's appointment. What happens? We go to the ER, right? So I went to the ER several times because I was in so much excruciating pain. And the doctors told me verbatim, maybe you should go to Chicago, like University of Chicago, because I think they, have better resources. So I live in Indiana. Going to University of Chicago in pain is very challenging, but I didn't want to keep hearing things like, I don't know what's going on. I don't see anything. Everything looks perfect. And I know that I'm feeling miserable. So I went to University of Chicago. So for those of you that actually saw the flyer talking about this show, you saw a glimpse of this picture right here. This was me at University of Chicago. If you look, this doesn't look like a normal room, right? So what this room was an overflow that was created because of the pandemic. This was created and it was freezing in this room. Even the nurses and everything, they're like, I don't know why it feels like this. I'm so sorry. They're handing out blankets. I had like 6 blankets on me. This was because of the pandemic, because they were overloaded. There were so many sick people during the height of the pandemic that they needed to find more space. And so when I came in, I ended up in that overflow. Not because I had COVID. Let me clarify. I did not. I was in that overflow because they were just that busy. Because they have um, COVID related stuff and the other things that we were already going to the ER for before the pandemic. So they're doing their best. They're compensating as much as they can for the situation. Hey. um, and you guys, please feel free to ask questions while I'm telling my story. It's quite all right. I want you to ask questions and comment. So, what ended up happening after that, they saw something via CAT scan that the other people here in Indiana did not see. So, that gave me some leverage. I took it to my doctor that I had here. But guess what? My good doctor that I liked left. Sweet Jesus. So he, yes, exactly. Not enough resources for everything. Okay, yeah, exactly. Um, he left. So he's like, hopefully you have somebody to follow up with. So I had already set it up to follow up with somebody from the University of Chicago, but that was just follow up with, what they saw. Um, yeah. I didn't realize that I was going to have another episode of extreme pain. And my doctor at the time said, listen, what they found is serious. Don't play around with it. If your symptoms get worse, go straight to the ER. I went to the ER that was close by because he said, don't you try to take that trip to Chicago. It's that serious. Like, okay. So I'm like sick, right? In pain. And my husband's like, ER? I said, all right, ER, let's go. Uh, so we head to the ER. Never is there a time that we head there that it's just boom, 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 right? So I'm in there. They're having a hard time with me because I got little veins. They're trying to, get IVs and stuff. They're poking me. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was in so much pain. I didn't. It didn't phase me. I didn't feel it. Um, they finally got me together, and they said, um, "Yeah, so test results come back. We don't see anything. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, everything's perfect." And I'm like, obviously not, because I'm in pain still. And, they're able to look at your vital signs and everything. So they can see that I'm experiencing some kind of stress, some kind of pain. They just couldn't see why. So finally, I get an ER doctor that says, "Well, what do you want me to do? You want me to admit you, have you see our hospitalist?" I said, "Yes." Oh, I'm so grateful for him giving me the option, because before that, all I was hearing is, "Well, we don't see anything that's going on. You got a primary? Follow with your primary and follow with your GI doctor, and do this and do that." Like, obviously, I was in so much intense pain. I needed you to help me. And let me address this real quick. I am fully aware of the fact that there are a lot of people out there that have drug problems, that try to use the system to get their fix. I'm not one of them. And unfortunately, people like me experience that bias. They're like, oh, okay, you can't handle this drug, man. You can't handle this. Well, I'm not going to give you stronger. I'm not going to, we get treated a certain way. And it's like, no, I'm in intense pain. Help. Unfortunately, I didn't always get the help that I needed. And there's always questions about, well, what does the person need, right? Um, so I do have my producers in the comments, and so they know some things you guys don't know. This question right here is in reference to a few doctors that told me, you could always go home and take some Tylenol. The reason is because I have um, a problem. My system does not handle NSAIDs well. For those of you that don't know what NSAIDs are, they're the class that involves pretty much everything but Tylenol. So ibuprofen, Motrin, Aleve, just aspirin, all of those things. They're fall in those in that class, and my system does not handle it well. I've had ulcers and things like that that would be negatively affected. And so they said, well, you can go home and take Tylenol. Listen, I would not have landed myself in the ER if it was simple enough for me to take Tylenol. I promise you. Because I go through so much. Like I told you guys, my veins are so small, so little. They have to. I've had as many as 11 sticks trying to get an IV, bruised up all up and down my hands and arms. Um, so I would not take myself through that. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's profiling drugs. Because you didn't have anything they understood or knew what to do with. Exactly right. And it's, I know it's challenging as a doctor to treat something you don't understand. They understand from a book sense. They understand from their training. They don't understand from a personal experience. So they don't know what I'm actually feeling. Um, so that's extremely challenging to explain that. So and and telling me something like, you can take some Tylenol, it was infuriating. And it was like, oh God. Now please understand, this show is not about bashing um the the medical providers at all. I'm going to give you guys an insight into why things have become the way they've become, which is why I called it what I call it, the pandemic of the pandemic. Um, So this particular doctor, this particular ER doctor that gave me the option to be admitted, it was that move that got me where I needed to be to get the care I needed, because they did some extra testing that's not done in the ER that let them see that one of my organs was not operating properly. So I had two organs removed. So I am still healing from this, and this is why I took a couple of weeks off. I don't know how long I can um, handle this, but I'm going to handle it as long as I can for tonight. Um, yes, exactly right. I was told that. So, in one of my experiences in trying to get help before I got to the point that I'm at right now, I was told by a doctor from the office of my then primary. Notice I said then, cut them off after this. They sent him to the hospital to tell me to go home and chill. Uh, yeah. I asked, I said, what is the plan of action? What do you want me to do? Because I'm not better. You guys haven't figured this out. He said, I want you to go home and chill. No medication, no follow up, no plan. So I'm like, yeah, deuces. Clearly, I need another doctor. And I did, and that doctor ended up leaving, and now I have another doctor. So, so I ended up being admitted. What a journey! They did so much testing. You know, I heard people checking in on me, and I appreciate that I am surrounded by love. I have some loving family and friends, and I appreciate you all. And I heard, try to get some rest. Try to relax. There's no resting or relaxing in the hospital when you're sick. They're constantly testing. And I don't know if you can tell that I'm a little hoarse. It's because of the surgery. They had to put a breathing tube down my throat. So excuse me on that. There was constant testing because I actually lost some blood. Yes, you heard me right. I lost blood. I had some internal bleeding. So all this stuff was going down when the ER told me my body was perfect. There was nothing wrong. So right here is where I want to make a shout out. I want to shout out to Gabby, who was a tech at the hospital. When I say tech, I'm talking about medical tech. She was the one that checked on me. She actually did most of the work, I'll say, and checked on me, make sure I was okay. And to physician assistant Carolyn, shout out to her because she explained things to me. She was very personal. Um, and the reason I'm doing that shout out is because what we're not recognizing while we're still sick, while we're still trying to get help, we're still dealing with this pandemic, right? So the people that are trying to treat us are experiencing what they're calling pandemic fatigue or COVID fatigue. And it affects how they respond to us. It affects how their mind works. It affects their bedside manner and everything. And I'm just going to play a video for you that I found. It's pretty deep. So let me know how you feel about this.
I have worked 75 of the last 77 days. It feels impossible to keep up. What if I get my kids sick or my parents? What if that's me next week? This is my calling. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm doing my best. I need help, but will I lose my license? I can fix this. I can save them. But who saves me? I want to be part of the solution. It's my job.
So, yes, our medical providers are people, and they are experiencing extreme stress during this time. So, we need help. We need the best. We need, um, people to pay attention to our needs, and these very people are stressed out. They are completely maxed. So, how do you deal with that? Well, thankfully, I was one of those people that got some assistance. I had surgery. There was some other things that needed to be done, but because I had the surgery, they said that my body was not ready for the other stuff that needs to happen. So I'm not out of the woods yet, people. So pray for me. Um, yes, you are absolutely right. We have to pray for them as well. Help relieve them as well as help them with their decision making. Absolutely. Exactly. And this is why I had to fight. I had to fight for myself. And so let me explain. So I had the surgery. They're expecting, according to their records, I say according to their records, because not all of them have experienced your pain, my pain. And they're expecting, oh, you should feel better after a couple of days. You should be ready to go home. So something crazy happened. And they're constantly changing shifts. So a nurse came in with the change of a shift, and I did not know this nurse, and I'm not going to call her name out. And she says, you're being discharged. I'm like, well, what? So I was still in so much pain that I had not been able to walk around yet. I had not even been able to walk to the restroom. I had a commode next to the bed. And obviously, I don't have that at home. That's not a normal thing. So when she came in and told me that, I said, wait a minute. Uh, because the doctors, when they came to talk to me, they asked me how I felt and what was going on. They said they were going to check in on me again later on the evening to see, if I'm any better. And so I said, I feel like you guys are setting me up for failure right now, because I cannot take enough steps to get to the restroom in my own home. Are you going to give me something to be more mobile? What are you going to do? And at the time, I happened to have family with me. I had my aunt, and she about that life. Uh, she was not ready to let me go out like that. She fought for me. And this is where I have to point out my blessings, because not everybody has that. It exactly. The Lord and my aunt Gina, they entered the scene at this point and fought for me. And so, we're calling the doctors that did the surgery, and we're like, hey, I'm not okay. What's going on? You guys didn't tell me that this was happening. No one told me I was being discharged. And they're like, there's a misunderstanding. And this nurse got frustrated with us and walked. She's like, I can't deal with this. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, you got to hold your tongue, right? Because you still want the best care. And that's the nurse. That's on the clock at that time, taking care of me, right? Oh, geez. So I asked her to get the physician assistant that I talked to you guys about, Carolyn. Oh, she's so sweet. And at first she was like, I already talked to her. She's not coming. I'm like, So me and Gina, we calling the surgeon. We calling people, right? And the doctor calls and says, not a problem. Because at first she's like, you can stay if you want to, but the insurance is not covering it. I'm like, word? I know that's not how it works. It's about what the doctors say. And the doctor was like, it's not a problem. We'll just put some notes in there saying that you're not ready to go home. Like, thank you. And the physician assistant ended up coming and telling me, what was going on. And she's the reason that I started looking through a different lens and looking at the situation. She's the one that let me know how fatigued everybody was due to COVID situation. People were stretched. So let me present to you this. So, since February 2020, nearly 1 in 5 healthcare workers, or 18%, have quit their jobs, according to new poll results from Morning Consult, a global privately held data intelligence company. You have physicians, you have nurses dropping out, retiring early, leaving practice, changing jobs. I don't know how to say that name and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not going to try. A urologist at the University of Texas Health San Antonio told the company, you're experiencing loss of manpower in a field that was already short on manpower before the pandemic hit. In the poll, 79% of healthcare professionals said shortages have affected them and their workplace. Okay, so that's where we're at, said Report the nurse. You know what? So this particular nurse was pregnant and on duty during this pandemic. I have a heart. Even though I was in intense pain, in tears, I could understand that while you are on the front lines, this is the front lines here that we're talking about, that you are stretched to capacity. And for those of you that don't understand what a pregnant woman goes through, honey, to have to take care of a bunch of other people for 10 hours a day while you're on your feet and very pregnant, yeah, that's real. That's deep. So for her to snap, I have to recognize she's a human being. I mean, it's just facts. So I want to humanize the people that are trying to take care of us and help you guys to recognize what's going on. And maybe we can brainstorm together on how to take care of things better. That's why you have favor, because you have mercy, empathy, and forgiveness. Well, thank you. It's how I was raised. And that's the God in me. So we're going to take a break here. You guys go ahead and gather your thoughts. Yes, we are doing a Find the Fake for me. I know, we haven't done this before. And for those of you that are watching via YouTube, you know what I want you to do. Yes, honey. I'm trying to tell you. Subscribe. And we're going to take a small break here. And we'll get back to the topic at hand after we do the Find the Fake. Jamal Rogers, and I'm a singer, songwriter, choreographer, voice actor, and I'm the creator and talk show host of PURELive. PURE is an acronym for Perfectly Undefined Raw Elegance. So naturally, we want our content to be pure, raw, and elegant. It airs live every Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. And if you'd like to see all of the episodes, you can reach it at asiajamal.com, ASIAJAMAL.com. Or if you'd like to be on the show, you can reach me at asia@asiajamal.com. Hope to see you soon. Hope to see you soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to play Find the Fake. Here we go. Now, those of you that are blood relatives, you know you are not allowed to play this game. But the rest of you, we will revisit it, but let me know which one you think is the fake. All right. Hello. Okay. So let's see. What we saying over here? Sorry, wearing a mask is smart, but not wearing a mask and no vaccination is crazy and costing all of us. Yeah. A, huh? That's your answer, Crystal. Okay. And I agree with you, Dr. Aaron Jamal. And let me just say this. There are a lot of opinionated people out there in regards to this vaccination, especially in my African American communities and in my church communities. So let me say this. Unless you have data and you have facts, shut your mouth. You can have opinions, but do not get on a platform. Do not go to the masses. Do not go to your audience and tell them something as if it is fact if you don't have the facts. I invite all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to research yourself. Do the research on your own. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, doctor, and I've been researching all this stuff. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to research, and I have been researching just like I'm telling you to research. Do not just take everybody's word for everything. There are quite a few people out there talking about, some stats that are wrong. Telling us all the information, and they're not giving us the information about the other ways to do things and whatever, blah, 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 blah. Some people talking about this is the sign of the end times. Bruh, listen, this is not the first time we've experienced a pandemic. Do that research. This is not the first time that we've been required to get vaccinations. Do that research. Think about how many students are required to get vaccinations. People that are playing sports have to get vaccinations. If you're going to certain countries, you have to get vaccinations. This is not brand new, fam. Just saying. Do your research. Moving on. I just had to put that out there. I want you to have your own minds, your own brains. Look at stuff yourself. Okay. I am vaccinated. Now, I'm gonna tell you, before there was a vaccination, I I was told that I had COVID last year. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Okay. I accidentally clicked on something. Yes, I was told I had COVID last year. I know, right, Crystal? I'm trying to tell you, these people ain't got no sense. Yeah. Yeah, the devil would give you a vaccination because he wants you to be healthy. On that note, I work on logic. Anyway, so yes, last year they said I had COVID. I went to Northwestern University. How I made it there, I don't know. Um, I was struggling to breathe. I was tired of people telling me here in Indiana, I don't know, I don't understand, I don't know what's going on. And this is something that's scary too. As many hospitals as there are around our country, around the world, not all of them seem to be knowledgeable enough to understand what's going on with you. And that is so frustrating. Facts, Crystal. She preaching today. You better tell them. We are the enemy create something to help us live. Food for thought. And amen. um, so yeah, for whatever reason, everything is not the same in the medical system. And you know, I say for whatever reason, but the fact of the matter is we are dealing with human beings here, and I think we forget that. These are not robots that are programmed to know everything, and you know, according to these calculations, you have XYZ and this is the treatment for it. That is not what's happening. It's not what's happening. We are dealing with people. We are dealing with human beings. And that is why I chose to point out in the beginning of the show that there is fatigue. That's right. Not all hospitals and doctors are equal. And it's like, I kind of appreciate the fact that they just flat out told me, hey, I had a doctor tell me. Now, was mind blowing. People, listen, if there are any nurses or doctors listening to this, please help clarify this situation. I was told by a doctor, hey, here in Indiana, we're not real big on diagnostics and things like that. We don't really do a lot of research. You might want to take it to Chicago. I'm sorry, isn't that your job to research, investigate, diagnose? Isn't that the job of all of the doctors? Help me understand. Please correct me if I am wrong. I invite you. Um, so that was mind blowing for me and frustrating all at the same time. And listen, when I say that this took a month, we're talking about weeks of pain. And when I say pain, my blood pressure was up, my heart rate was up. Everything was pointing towards the fact uh, that something was wrong, but not wrong enough, I guess. That's what you mean, the ER doctors that don't research. Facts. Oh my gosh. Like seriously, people. What are they doing? Am I supposed to research? And guess what? That's exactly what I did. Yes, I did. They tell you, and I've heard this advice so many times. A lot of doctors tell you, and I know why they tell you this. Don't research this stuff on your own because it'll drive you crazy. This is what they tell you, and you know, for some people, it's the truth. It'll drive you nuts. Oh my gosh, I have everything. I'm dying because this is what the symptoms say. So I get it. I know why they try to give you that advice, but I have to say to you, it is wrong advice. This is my advice to you. And no, I'm not a doctor. No, I don't have a doctorate in anything. This is from personal experience. Hear me when I say this. Research, but research to find out. Don't research because you're going to diagnose. You are not a doctor. Research to find out. Help give your doctor ways to look outside of the box. There's a saying they said when you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras. I'm a zebra. because they're thinking this is a horse. This is a normal thing. This is nothing about my life has been normal, average, whatever. I'm a zebra. So, that being said, I had to research. I had to look into things. And yes, texted the family chain to do the research. We're all researching. We're researching about the resources, researching about what it could be, researching about everything. People from a zebra family. Facts. Let's see. I've just been leaning on the word of God and his truth, even though many think I'm crazy in my vision and what God has been telling me, though all this political and pandemic cray cray. Look, you're not crazy. That's the same thing to do. Lean on God. And that is exactly what I've been doing. My strength comes from the Lord. You guys know I'm saved. This ain't new. Hey, I'm a believer. and let me say this. I won't say that everything has gone wrong for me. I've had my blessings along the way. I have my family that loves and supports me, even my extended family, that I got in the comments. And hey, I closed on a house this week. These are good things, right? I got a loving husband, wonderful things. But even that, going through what I've been going through and suffering the way that I've been suffering, and then them telling me, you're fine, go home, take some Tylenol, chill out. That's taxing on my entire family. That's taxing on my entire support. Oh, in addition to that, I have a bomb job. The people that I work with have brought me in like family. They loved on me. They treated me in a way I've never been treated on any job. So I appreciate them and I'm blessed for that. So many people have suffered during this pandemic alone. So many people fell through the cracks without any assistance. So I want to bring light to that. And I will not at any time blame the first responders. I will not blame the doctors, the nurses, the people that are treating us. It is not their fault. These are people. Now, have some people acted a fool? Absolutely. Have some people been insensitive? Absolutely. But the healthcare system as a whole has already been stretched thin. We got to change the whole situation. It needs to be changed from within, um, but not in a hateful manner. Yes, we continue to pray. Not in a way that is going to fuel the fire. Because think about it. If they're already stressed, if they're already stretched to the max, then you lashing out at them and attacking them is going to make matters worse. And it's going to be even harder for people like me to get the right treatment. Because their minds are gone. They're not focused enough to give people like me the proper treatment. And yes, I'm still healing, ladies and gentlemen. And on the road to recovery from the surgery, I still have other things that haven't been treated yet, which I don't even get to begin to address until the end of the month. Yeah. And that's that dealing with that internal bleeding situation. That sounds urgent, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's why you haven't really seen me too active. I am drained. I am exhausted. I'm doing everything that I know how to do to heal. Exactly. Look for real ways to help and support others. You guys, we have to love on each other. That's it. That's all. We have to love on each other. We gotta help each other out, encourage one another. We support them however we can. Maybe we're bomb researchers. Maybe we're people that have connections. We know some good doctors that they can connect with. Whatever we can do, we got to do it, because we're all experiencing this around the world, not just in this country. Around the world, we're experiencing this stuff because of the pandemic. That's why I called this show the pandemic of the pandemic. As a result of the pandemic, an already stretched capacity healthcare system is being stretched further and is breaking down. People, more and more people are falling through the cracks because of this. Exactly right. Fatigued to the max. You said rest. Honey, I'm trying. I'm trying, but I still have to provide for my family, right? I'm still working. I'm working from home, but I'm still working. Today I worked 10 hours. Am I supposed to? No. But what do? This pandemic has put a drain on resources, empathy, manpower, and good sense. Amen. Oh, you said it right there. Let me post that again. Let me let that sit for a second. Let me let that marinate. People, for real. Um, facts. It's rough, and it is taking a toll on our mental health. I've had more anxiety attacks this year than I have my entire life. I was put on so many medications this year that I just straight up went rebellious. I'm like, I'm not taking this medication anymore. I'm not taking this medication. I don't want to take this anymore. Look, I know everybody doesn't want to give their age away. I'm fine with it. I am 36 years old. 36 years old. I am too young to be dealing with all this stuff, you would think, right? But obviously not. There's people even younger than me that have lost their lives since last year and this year due to the pandemic. It's, it's just, and people, just because COVID's going on doesn't mean that's the only thing that's killing folks. We still dying from the same old stuff prior to pandemic. It's just now on top of that, we got COVID related deaths. This is not a game. It's not a game. I spent so many days, so many nights in tears, frustrated, trying to figure out what do I do? And I know I am not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. What do I do? God, help me. How do I get past this situation? I got to the point where I can barely eat anything because that's how much my system is torn up right now. I'm being very transparent with you, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have never seen me this transparent. I'm trying to tell you right now. I have gotten to the point where I can barely, I can't enjoy meals at this point. I cannot enjoy the things that I enjoyed before because they tear up my gut. I start bleeding. That's how bad it is right now for me. And I am not the only one. And that's why we have to pray unceasingly, because there is not a pharmaceutical solution to all of this stuff. Facts. You guys, these doctors are not miracle workers. They're not. They're here to serve. They're here to help you get healthy to the best of their knowledge. To the best of their knowledge. It's just like any other person. You have repair people, you have gardeners, you have all these different kind of people. And it's like we understand more so with other trades and careers when they are not perfect. But we expect these doctors and nurses to be of perfection because we want them to be, because we want them to have the answers, but they're not always going to have the answers. These are human beings. So then what now, right? Well, we can start by making sure that we help each other and encouraging one another, making sure that we are not adding on to stress, maybe relieving some of the stress, of our neighbors, however we can. pray for each other, encourage each other, make each other smile, make each other laugh, make each other know that we're not alone. Things like that is helpful to help relieve some of the stress that leads to illnesses. People forget that. And my body doesn't let me forget. My body responds violently to stress. Yeah, you getting to know, all the ugly behind the scenes. I have done so many shows sick. You guys have no idea. I mean, just sitting here in pain, like, oh yeah, oh no, I know, and I'm like, God, I can't wait till the show is over. Seriously, you guys don't know. You never know unless you ask, right? Yes, we need to start being unity, not the division. Agreed. Frankly, I'm surprised I've lasted this long. I thought I was going to end up having to cut this short because it's been a very trying day. I don't sleep much because of how I feel. I have not been able to rest the way that I need to heal. Um, but I still feel it is necessary for you guys to be aware, of what's going on. It's not it's not anyone's fault. We were presented with something that no one saw coming. We were, presented with all kinds of mess, and people are trying to adjust. We're all trying to adjust, so let's help each other. Even when I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with right now, I want to help you. I want to help you help me. Let's help each other. So, real quick, I'm gonna do the find the fake one more time for those of you that forgot, and then I'll let you know if any of you got it right. So, just let me know what answer you think it is. So I'm gonna tell you right now, none of you guys have gotten it right. I'll tell you that. Now I got a question offline. The question is, has this experience strengthened or weakened your faith in the health industry? And I have to say, um, it has not done either. It's just been a learning experience. I don't feel stronger about the health industry. I don't feel weaker about the health industry. There's a lot of great technology out there. Unfortunately, it's like you got to run into the right one, and you don't always know who the right one is. Um, so, I know, strengthen mine because of those who are still pressing on. Yeah, there are a lot that are still pressing on, even though there's a good chunk of them that left the industry because they couldn't handle it. And let us not tear them down. This is tough. The D final answer. I know I cannot go without chicken. So listen, that's actually true. That is not the fake. The fake answer. That's not it. So the fake answer is actually the one that said I've only gone to one other country. I have not gone to any other country. I have not gone outside the US. That is the fake. So I guess you could say I kind of tricked you with the wording, you know. Sorry. Had to be creative because I give so much of my testimony. Um, and let me see. What else did Crystal say? Let me just say the courage and strength you are portraying to make this show happen. I commend you. For my first time here, I was truly blessed. I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you for that. Get that passport. Things are changing. Um, tell Crystal about the chicken. Listen, so quickly before I start closing. Um, I saw a special on TV when I was really young. And when I say really young, I was like 11. And this special made me not like chicken. It also caused me to have a small period of not eating yogurt. But I just decided I'm like, ew, I don't like chicken. And then I didn't like the taste of chicken. And I went all that time into my adulthood not liking chicken. I didn't start eating chicken again until I had a doctor tell me that I had to chill on the beef and pork because it was slowing down my digestive system. So I went back to the chicken for health reasons. Go figure. I figured out new ways to make it. So that's the story. Um, first of all, I want you guys to know and understand I appreciate our healthcare providers. I appreciate our doctors, our nurses, our techs, our first responders. Um, I appreciate all the ones that chose to stick it out and to continue to stand. Um, and so I have a little video tribute for them. Here we go. I see y'all in the comments section. Y'all cutting up. Talking about questioning whether or not I was a real Jamal. Oh my gosh. You guys. Because the whole chicken thing. I had a couple other things I didn't like either that had people like, and you're whose daughter? Yeah, I know. Whatever. Now I have a bunch of food allergies and we won't even touch on that right now. But I lasted the whole hour, you guys, and I'm feeling it. So, first of all, just thank you guys for joining me today, for listening to me, for the questions, for the comments. Um, I want you guys to remember everything that I said and learn to encourage each other, love on one another, don't tear each other down. Let's not politicize all of this stuff. People, we are dealing with some real stuff out here right now. There's no time for um, politics when you're dealing with something that's attacking people's health. Too many people are dying. Too many people are negatively affected by this stuff. All these people that lost their jobs, lost their homes. We don't have time for that. You know, or as they say, ain't nobody got time for that. Seriously, let's do better. Let's do better. Um, so, um, and to you, remember to embrace God's perfect design, which is you, and be here next week. We got more great stuff for you. Friday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, have a good evening. Love you guys. Good night.